Madani. Welcome to today's webinar, Empowering Teachers, Sustaining Data-Driven Practices for Writing Excellence. Whether you're joining us as an experienced educator, a curious innovator, or a passionate advocate for student success, you are in the right place. Teaching is both an art and a science, and today we are diving into the power of data as the bridge between inspiration and measurable impact. Think of data not just as numbers on the page, but as a roadmap, one that guides us in understanding our students better, closing learning gaps, and crafting strategies that truly work. Through the lens of programs like PPKBIS 2024, we've seen the transformative potential of data driven approaches in writing education. But beyond celebrating these successes, this session is about empowering you to take these ideas further, implementing them effectively, sustaining their impact, and collaborating for long-term change. So today the program is talking about what we have done for PPKBIS and what are we going to do further, right, in sustaining this program. So English Enhancement Program for Schools is known as Program Peningkatan Kemahiran Bahasa Inggeris di Sekolah, PPKBIS. This initiative is a significant part of the Malaysian Education Blueprint, MAB 2013-2025, focusing on improving students' outcomes by enhancing their proficiency in the English language, particularly in the SPM examination. This PPKBIS program adopts a data driven approach to design its training modules, making it a robust platform for the professional development of our teachers. By equipping teachers with the skills to analyze and interpret student performance data, we aim to identify gaps in knowledge and implement effective interventions to address these gaps. Our target is to delve into how this program supports Form 4 English teachers in hotspot schools, those schools where 50% or fewer students achieved CFR B1 in the English SPM paper. Through continuous professional development, expert guidance, and collaborative opportunities, PPKBIS have empowered teachers to use various types of data to support effective pedagogical problem solving. So we have seen a brief explanation of how PPKBIS have worked so far. And today, let's get started with our webinar. We are honored to have three awesome panelists here with us. And I will introduce the first panelist, Miss Farah Jasmine Hui binti Abdullah from the District Education Office of Pekan, the SISC Plus for Language. Well, Miss Farah, as how we know her, is a dedicated SISC Plus with extensive experience in guiding and supporting teachers to enhance their instructional practices. She also brings in a wealth of knowledge in educational strategies and has been instrumental in driving improvements in English language teaching within her district. That's our first panelist. Welcome, Ms. Farah. And our second
Thank
panelist
you.
will be Mr. Hanafi bin Muhammad, the head of English language department of SMK Baku, Kuching, Sarawak. And Mr. Hanafi is known for his leadership and innovative approaches in language education and have significantly contributed to the academic success of his students. And our final panelist, last but not least, Miss Jamalia binti Abdul Majid, the head of English Language Department of SMK Saint Anthony, the Nome Sabah. Well, Miss Jamalia is known for her commitment to excellence in language education and her ability to inspire both teachers and students. So, welcome all the three of you. And let's move on with our webinar for today. And here I have our first question directed to Ms. Farah. All right, this is regarding the experience of attending this course, okay, PPKBIS. Right? For we can start with 2024. I mean, we can start with this year, 2024. How did the course change your perception of teaching practice, coaching, and mentoring? You know, you have gone through PPKBIS for such a long time. So, how has this changed your perception of teaching practice, coaching, and mentoring? To you, Miss Farah.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Kogila. Assalamualaikum and also good afternoon. Salam Madani. So, in order to answer that question, I think I need to elaborate a little bit about the uniqueness of PPKBIS, which will later bring us to my change perception in coaching and mentoring. So PPKBIS, the first outstanding characteristic is the it's a mouthful. It is a mouthful to pronounce. And I have teachers who who has finished the program for this year and yet still get confused with the letters. And sometimes she will say PPBKIS and PPKBIS. But we
Yeah,
all know
correct.
PPKBIS is it stands for Program Peningkatan Kemahiran Bahasa Inggeris di Sekolah. So
Yes,
what do I mean by PPKBIS is unique? First off, it is unlike traditional one-off training sessions. PPKBIS comes in three phases. So this spectacular, or would I say a unique structure, allow us SISCs to work alongside teachers in a very hands-on and supportive manner. So I must commend the English Language Teaching Center (ELTC) for this strategic design. So it's an ongoing support system. So during these three interconnected phases, whereby each is carefully designed to build upon the previous phase, uh, we can see the progress of teachers who are involved. So, and during these courses, we will have teachers and coaches working alongside each other to review their pretest results, to identify their learning gaps, and collaboratively design interventions which are tailored to their students' needs. So for me, this face-to-face collaboration creates a culture of openness, two-way communication,
correct,
all right, and also reflection. So from here we
correct.
can also see senior teachers guiding their younger counterparts, and vice versa, where our younger teachers sharing their digital skills, bringing on a very fresh perspectives.
Correct.
When we are seated together, doing those tasks where we all have to complete during the courses. So this is actually professional learning in its purest form.
Yes,
And
correct,
I
correct.
would think PLCs are naturally integrated into this process, the whole process of PPKBIS. So, and then after phase one, teachers will go back to implement their planned interventions, So, during this phase, which is phase two, I wouldn't say it is a phase of working in isolation, because when the teachers go back and put their ideas into action to collect meaningful data on their students' progress, actually a lot of shared learning happens as well. From my experience, I have one particular coachee who even shared the essences of PPKBIS with her ketua bidang, and from there the ketua bidang chipped in to give her a lot of ideas. So that is PLC, you see, and because of this, I find that teachers, they have become more data driven. They are more confident as well. The transformation from PPKBIS, I would say, is teachers have learned to navigate data in very positive ways. Before they were involved in PPKBIS, a lot of them would not even think of writing an action research report. For them, it is just too difficult, and the process of collecting data is too tedious. But once they are involved in this, they feel that, oh, actually it is not that difficult, and I am able to do an action research. So
Correct.
to begin with,
Yeah.
PPKBIS has provided me with a unique lens to observe teachers' teaching practices. And
Yeah.
one of the most significant changes is that teachers, consciously or not, they embrace the differentiation strategies in their
Yes.
classroom. And
Yes.
these
Okay.
strategies align with the expectations of standard quality at schools, SCARS,
Correct. Correct.
classroom teaching appraisals. Uh, so,
Yeah. True. True.
so naturally,
Yep.
when these methods are integrated into their lessons, they will do better in SCARS. You know,
Correct.
so
So it's like all in one, right? It's like many things in
yes,
one. It's
very
integrated. Yeah.
transformative,
Thank you.
very
Yes.
transformative.
Thank you so much, Miss Farah. Yes. Thank you for your in-depth explanation is on how it's different. So thank you so much. And we'll move on to the next panelist, and we'll be back to
All
you
right.
later on for another
Okay,
question.
sure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, most welcome. Now let's move on to our next panelist, Mr. Hanafi. So, Mr. Hanafi, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good.
All right. So, Mr. Hanafi, do let us know on how this PPKBIS workshop is different from other workshops that you have attended, and what are the things that you have learned, from this PPKBIS workshop that is so valuable. It's so good to implement it in your school. Yeah, Mr.
All
Hanafi.
right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, I attended this course back in 2016, and
Wow.
it was not called as PB. What
PPKBIS
yes, and it was SIP, which stands for School Improvement
inter-
Plan. Correct me if I'm wrong.
intervention.
SIP, yeah. So definitely, when I was the head of English panel during the time. So when I received the letter, the calling letter, and of course I was like shocked. Okay, why do I have to go to this course? But then again, when I look at the content of the calling letter, and it was all about writing, and which I was eager to know what is it about. So at that time, I was teaching Form 5, and it was my third year in my current school. And knowing it was about writing, and plus my students were so weak in writing, and I was eager to deepen my skill in teaching writing, especially to my students. And the course I've attended, of course, I gained insights, valuable insights into skills and knowledge in writing, particularly when teaching the, the intermediate and weak students, in which I couldn't wait to spread the news, to practice, to share with them. And as teachers, we must know what our students need. And of course, the course changed my perception, and it reflected the old style of teaching, or I would say the traditional way practice of teaching, in which after exam, this is what we normally do, where we just key in the marks and analyzing, sorry, the just key in the item
Analysis,
analysis.
the brief item analysis, right?
Yes, yes, correct. And then in repeating the same method again and again every year.
Yeah.
From the course, of course, it enhanced my understanding of the what first creating awareness. What
Correct.
should I do? in providing practical strategies for improving my students' writing skills. And it's not only analyzing errors, but of course, I need to create awareness to my students. The the mistakes, what were the mistakes that they always made, and then deepen their skills, and with the knowledge, like for example, the vocabulary, the subject verb agreement, and I did coach and mentor other English teachers, but because most of my teachers in school are veteran teachers, I would say, and I have provided assistance in teaching and learning approach, particularly the writing, and emphasizing the cycling practice of error analysis, the error identification, and um, it was amazed me because these veteran teachers, the acceptance of the veteran teachers of the new method or the best practice should they apply to their students.
Wow, that's fantastic. So I think the way that you have put it, the acceptance of the veteran teachers, yeah, we are kind of like always we are a little bit worried of how the acceptance would be because they have vast experience, right? So when we bring in some kind of new ideas, would they accept it or not? But I think the process of doing it is really practical, and it brings and it is kind of impactful. So that is why even the experienced teachers, they accept this program as it is really meaningful for the students, especially when we talk about focus interventions. We identify their data, the mistakes that they make, and we identify the focus interventions. So I think you have actually I mean, of course, taken a very challenging approach in what do you call that, approaching the veteran teachers and also asking them to follow whatever you've been doing. So congratulations to you on that achievement. Right, now let's move on. Okay, we've been talking to Miss Farah, we've been talking to Mr. Hanafi. Let's move on to our third panelist, Puan Jamahlia, right? And tell us about how this program has been so different. How this program, this approach, the approach of PPKBIS has been so different, and how has it impacted you or your school, in doing things. Yeah, Miss Jamal.
Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you. First of all, thank you, Ms. Kogila. And Assalamualaikum. Good evening to everybody. First of all, I would like to say thank you for this opportunity to share about what PPKBIS. All right. Maybe my PPKBIS would be different from previous one because 2 years ago we having the problems in the entire world had this problem like the COVID-19. So
Yeah.
yeah, I started my PPKBIS 2022, which we need to do it online. Okay, and it is the first long period of online courses for me because this PPKBIS got me into 5 months doing the online, and within that 5 months I have to go through a challenge where I need to submit every task every week, right? So during that time, I have problems with the poor connection at my place. I would say my home. So yeah, I have to climb on the hills to get the connection, but it's still poor. So I decided to ask my partner to take me to the school, and every weekend I have to be at school to do the PPKBIS. But actually, it's not the challenge totally for me because after I go through the course, I found out that this course is very good for me, for my friends, and my students. It is because it gets back to the data, especially for the writing. And now our SPM uh, exams is based on the CFR, which we have to really let the students know what are the elements in the writing that they have to focus, which is we have the C for the content, CA communicative achievement, organization, and the language itself. So,
Correct.
of course, the PPKBIS give me a different perspective. Uh, Personally, when I got the letter, I don't know what PPKBIS is. So when I go through the online with the mentor by my LTC, Dr. Carol Aini.
Yes.
She really helped me a lot in doing this program and give me so many courage and so many ideas on how I'm going to do this at school. All right. So since it is about writing, for me, this one really helped my students to really know what they should do in their writing. I mean, for the grammar purposes, non-grammar purposes, the sentence structures, how they did the errors like spelling, the SBA, the verb to be that they always miss when they are writing their essay. So when I go through this PPKBIS, I know that we have to analyze all the errors one by one, sheet by sheet for every of my students. And of course, my schools is in the interior of Sabah. So the background of my students is not that really, superb like those who are in the,
Yeah. The
yeah, as you
proficiency
know,
level. Yes. Yeah.
yeah, their
Correct. Yeah.
proficiency level. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think I have to start with the root. I mean, need to
Correct.
start over, need to really know what my students need.
Correct.
So I come up with this. So data driven or data analysis is really helped me and my other colleagues to know the needs of my students as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the thing is that how is it different? Yeah, we have seen the data analysis and everything, right? So, what do you think of the process, Miss Jamalia?
Yeah, before this we will do like just teach them here and there format how lang it
Yeah,
is,
correct.
right?
Mm,
But
mm,
from the PPKBIS we have to do it specifically in details. What are they need to know, what are they need to
correct.
write based on the CA4 aligned. Yeah, that is the
Yes,
difference
yes,
and it is
correct.
really good. So they will
Yeah.
understand what they should do, so they improve a lot in their writing as well. Yeah.
Correct, correct. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Jamalia. So we have
Yeah.
heard, our first question. We have also posted to Ms. Farah, Mr. Hanafi, and Ms. Jamalia. So we had gathered lots of insights on how it is different. Yeah, because we have a process to follow, and we are given, not only we, the teachers are also given ample of time, in order for them to actually complete the whole task. And this is actually a lifelong, it is sustainable, because they're not going to do it for 2024 only. They can carry this out in 2030, they can carry this out in 2040, because
Yeah.
the data driven process is a sustainable process, whereby they can use it for not only writing, they can also use it for listening, speaking, and reading and writing, that we will look into later on, right? Okay, now let's go on with the second question. So the second question here is like, we have done the data driven process, right, to improve students writing outcomes in school, right? We have done it. That is PPKBIS. That is what PPKBIS is all about. We use data, we analyze the data, and we find focused intervention. So I would like to ask our second panelist, Mr. Hanafi. All right, based on your experience, right, I would like to know how impactful is the data driven process to improve student writing outcomes in school. So how impactful that has been,
All right.
Mr. Hanafi?
In my Yeah, in my case, by implementing and inducing error identification with my students, They are not only able to identify the mistakes, but they will also recognize the correct use of subject-verb agreement in the aspect of language, and then they also would able to unpack the questions from the aspect of content, communicative achievement, and organization. I will give you an example. Uh, Before this, I was teaching Form 5 back in 2016 after attending the course, the SIP course. Shout out to uh, ELTC for inviting me to attend the course. And after attending the course, then I gained uh, something that I should apply to my students, whereby during the time I was teaching the um, very intermediate class, right? And then I there were two students in my class. One boy and another one was a girl. So these two students, I believe they could score at least C plus. And after implementing error identification, sharing script with them, okay, identifying errors, and when the result came out, I was amazed. I was shocked actually to look at the result. Both of them scored B plus. So and from that moment, I continue to practice this error identification with my students, especially the scripts, the writing scripts. I would gather all the writing scripts and sharing with them. And now I'm teaching Form 3. As I'm teaching three classes on Form 3, one intermediate class and two week classes. And of course, I have something, I aim something for them for these 2 week classes. And then my goal is for them is only one. I wanted them to be able to at least to write a short and simple sentence, especially for part one email, so that they can score marks, right? So before this, they always scored zero. Uh, I was teaching them since Form 1. And then now they showed improvement and they were able to score at least 8 marks for content, communicative achievement, organization, and the language, of course. And this process is sustained through sharing session or PLC with my English teachers, as I believe that this way um, the we can help the students to respond or to write something uh, in their essay paper, and
Right.
we practice sharing students script, um, and of course we do the moderation first and then
Yeah.
compile the scripts, and the original scripts are to be shared with students with no symbols, with no marks, and the respective teachers would conduct error identification in their own classes. And this error identification is not only for upper secondary students, but we also implement it to the lower secondary students from Form 1 until Form 3. And we started practicing it since 2019.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So we can see the impact, yeah, because you have sustained it for so many years, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So let's move on to Puan Jamalia. So Puan Jamalia, how has this impacted you, and how is the impact of data driven process in your school? How impactful was it?
Okay.
Oh, is it?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. For me, from the PPKBIS, when we play with data, we actually need to really know from the root. I mean, me and my colleagues, we plan from the surface of it. So we introduce the students for their readiness first. So we create a positive learning environment first, and we have to build up a classroom community first as to get the students ready and my teachers ready to do this. Um, so after we have done with this plan, so we found out that it is enabled for the students to be creative in their learning process. Of course, it is play with the data again. All right. So for me, when we did the PPKBIS, based on the data that I found, um, we can plan the interventions. Okay, we plan with the interventions how we are going to make it specifically for every or certain errors that our students have done. So for me, we did a lot of PLC. It is impactful for, the bonding, the teachers bonding, the cliques. And then we are ready for the students by having programs with that. And I come out with the programs that we call it as the young teachers or the junior teachers, where I giving them the prior knowledge first, of course, like a refresh or a recall moment for them for the grammar itself, slideshow and everything, giving them the prior knowledge first, and then we go through the process of giving them the pre-test until the post-test. And why I say that this is the young teachers or the junior teachers program good and give a very good impact to the students as well, because as you know, students feel more comfortable to talk among them. So when I create these young teachers, they feel comfortable. Of course, we as the teacher need to, monitor them and tell them what they should do. So these young teachers programs, we have two modes of it. The first one is the pay work, and the second one is the group work. For the pay work, after they had done certain essay, of course, we give them time frame after they had done. So I said that, all right, after you had done, you have to exchange your paper with your friends, and your friends will mark your paper according to the CFR, like the C, PA, L, and O. And they have to, analyze, identify each errors that their friends did as the teacher did during marking the essay. So these young teachers will do exactly like the teachers do when they are marking the papers. And from that, we got the data, and it is sustained down in our class, and it's impact their knowledge as well. Of course, after we have done that, we will find out that the students will create another errors, and it keeps going over and over again, right? And then I come out with the other programs based on the data again, which I call it as the 10 minutes writing challenge. So the students know when I said it is a challenge, it's really what do we call that, particular in time. If it is 10 minutes, 10 minutes must be done, especially for part one, the email writing. As we know that SPM, we just only have like 1 hour and 30 minutes, and they have to finish like writing 3 essays. So time management is very important. So when we do this, of course, after they have done, again, we will do the young teachers program as well. Okay, that is
That's great.
my opinion of how it's impact my teachers and my students as well.
All right. Thank you, Miss Jamalia. So from the information that you both of you have given, how impactful it was. What I could recollect is what my teachers have told me, because when you talk about students not writing anything, so when they have analyzed, they have done the intervention, focus intervention. So they said that blank paper syndrome has been reduced, whereby now students write. So when students write, marks can be given based on their writing, even though how simple the language is. So the tendency of them to leave the paper blank and empty is not there. And another thing that I also recollected when you talk about data analysis, right? So those days, we tend to have lots of teacher sharing sessions for PLC. But right now, they are more towards data analysis for PLC. The tool that they use is data analysis. Those days is always teacher sharing session. Where PLC is concerned, it's teacher sharing session. But once, after this PPKBIS program, teachers are doing more on data analysis for PLC. So this is what we have discovered back in Kedah here. So, all right, next. So I've been elaborating so much. So we'll move on to Miss Farah. Miss Farah, based on your experience, how do you think, how impactful is this data-driven approach, in regards to the process of the teachers, doing this whole PPKBIS program? So how impactful has that been towards your teachers, and how have you coach and mentor them, regarding this? Over to you, Miss Farah.
All right, thank you for the question. Okay, this is the true confession of a few of my coaches.
Wow.
Traditionally, they used to believe that all the students struggle with similar issues such as subject verb agreement, or
Uh,
vocabulary, or tenses, past tense.
mm,
But
mm,
for when they started to be involved in BPKBIS, it has been so
mm,
transformative in that, and I have
mm.
seen this impact firsthand, because we begin with pre-test data, pre-test result.
Yep.
So these
Yes.
are real, tangible insights from the students' pre-test results. So it
Correct.
practically shifts the entire teaching approach to generalize from generalized assumptions to more targeted actions, because
Mm,
when they start analyzing their pretest data, it opened their eyes to more nuanced challenges instead of what they used to presume. Okay, it might be subject verb agreement, it will be lack of
mm,
vocabulary, when in true fact, it may not be that way, because, like, for example, a group of students might be struggling with sentence coherence, while
mm,
another uh, group may be facing difficulties in organizing ideas logically. They have the ideas,
correct.
but they do not know how to organize the ideas. So this clarity allows teachers to specifically to design interventions that cater specifically to the students' needs. So,
Yep.
uh, so in a way, it empowers teachers to become more reflective, this data driven process.
Yep.
And when they are more reflective and strategic in their planning, they will tailor their lessons to address these specific gaps. They
Yep.
create differentiated tasks, they added teaching aids, and they
Yeah.
scaffold their teaching instructions in such a way that they ensure every student is supported. So the impact on students has been significant. When these
Yep.
interventions are aligned with the data, the students are not only more engaged, but they experience progress in their writing, and in turn, they become more interested.
Correct.
No, they are more
Yeah.
confident in writing, so they have become more interested, and
Correct.
yeah, they are believers now in their
Yeah.
ability to write after
Correct.
having gone
Correct.
through many interventions, the 4-week
Yeah.
interventions.
Yeah.
Even the teachers
Correct.
themselves become believers in the
Mm.
power of data. All right.
Yeah. True.
So
True. True. Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
perspective of a coach, I should think that it is really rewarding, because from this process, it has created a culture of continuous improvement.
Correct, correct.
among teachers and students alike.
Yep, true,
And
true. And
yeah,
mhm,
and
yeah,
me as a
and
coach,
yeah,
me as a coach, I have improved in too in my perception of coaching and mentoring. So I now know it may not be a one-way guiding process, but it can
precisely.
be two-way,
Yes,
communicative, and we are learning from one another. And that's why the
yeah,
teachers feel free to share their tears, their joy, that
correct.
this environment there is no fear anymore to share even whatever doubts they have. It's
Yes,
very positive.
and yeah, true. And the impact from this workshop that I actually went through in Kedah that was really delightful is the teachers allowed us to go and see them in the classroom willingly, and they were
Yes, they
encouraging us
invite us.
when yeah, when do you want to
When are
come
you
and see
coming?
me? When are you coming? This intervention worked this way. This intervention, really made the students right. And now they can speak using the same vocabulary that we taught. So we were like, wow, I know it's such a wow. So yeah, and Kon Jamalia, what do you think of that? Do you think that they invite you to the classroom, Mr. Hanafi? What do you think of that aspect?
Yeah, yeah, it's very welcoming for the other teacher to asking us to be in their classroom and having us while they are doing their PDPC, and we found out that it's something new for the students to experience themselves for another new learning
Yeah.
styles. Yeah, which
Yes.
is very
Correct.
good.
Correct.
We could see the improvement of every student in the classroom, especially for the writing. That's for me.
Precisely, precisely. And also it's like, metacognition, they learn, they learn how they learn. Like when we see the mistakes that they make and we tell them this is your mistakes, you have to improve on this. They're learning to how to improve on their mistakes. It's like and that is actually a very good motivational thing for them, for the students, because they know where to work on and how to work on, because these teachers, they create interventions, focus interventions. Right. Mr. Hanafi, do you want to add anything else that to our conversation right now?
Yeah, first thing first, like when I started it with my Form 1, when I shared their friends' scripts from other classes, they were like, "What is this?" Yeah, asking them to identify the errors, especially the weak classes. Okay, the weak students,
Mm,
they definitely they won't be able to identify the errors, but. As teachers, we need to guide them one by one. Okay, by guiding them,
precisely.
yes, perhaps will help them, and then they get used with it until now.
Yeah, true, true, true. Yeah, yeah. That those insights, the discussion today just now was really good. It is really good, and it really brought us lots of flashbacks. Like memories. What teachers have told us. We are really collecting whatever that happened in the classroom. Okay, let's move on to our next question. Okay, Miss Jamalia, do you want to answer the next question? So this is pertaining to how do you see the potential of this approach for other skills like reading, speaking, listening, and also grammar. We have reading, listening, speaking, because those are the we have equal percentage for all the skills involved in CFR, right? So how do you think this approach can benefit the other skills as well? Yeah, Ms. Jamalia.
Oh, yeah. Actually, this approach is definitely bring a very good impact to the other skill as well. When you are good in writing, I guess you are good in speaking too, because these two things more similarly need to have a very good skills towards writing and speaking. When they are writing, we taught them that they need to use the sequence connectors, good sentence structures, good vocabulary, bombastic word when they are speaking, right? So it
Mm,
has a good impact when I focus on the speaking, the other skills of speaking, because I provide my students with another activity, which I like to give challenge to my students. So just now when I talk about writing, I give them like 10 minutes speaking, 10 minutes writing challenge, all about
mm,
time, right? But when we talk about speaking, the other skills that equally important right now. So the program that I provide with them is the 2 minutes speaking challenge. And for that speaking, they need to use the same structure that they use for writing, and they need to use that in their speaking as well. Yeah, using expression, using sequence connectors, using compound sentences, complex sentences, all what we what do we call the implement in the writing. We ask them to use it in their speaking as well. Of course, for the other skill, we need to boost up the confidence level too. When speaking, one big challenge for the students is they have to break the wall, or else they cannot speak, right? Okay,
True.
so yeah, after speaking, of course it will give another benefits for their reading, for their listening as well, because they get used with that language. They get used the linking words. They get used with and familiar with the words, so they will get the better understanding towards the other 3 or 2 skills that they need to master. And it's equally important for the SPM right now, CFR especially.
Yes, yes, correct, correct. Yeah. So, because both writing and speaking, they are actually a progressive skill, right? Right. It's what we call that as receptive and progressive, right? It can be used for all the skills, right? Okay. So let's move
Yeah.
on to Mr. Hanafi. Yeah, Mr. Hanafi. What do you think?
Yeah.
Can you like apply this approach to other skills as well?
Yeah, I can see that this approach can be applied in reading and speaking. For
Mm-hmm.
example, the students have exposed to learn error identification in writing. So at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, when they were exposed of this error identification, when they do the speaking activities, right, in the class, students were able to detect their friend's error, right, especially the as what Ms. Jamalia mentioned just now, the compound sentence and the subject verb agreement to be used. Okay, so well, we ask feedback from students regarding their friends' response, but definitely sometimes we have we're facing students who are reluctant to use English in class due to
Yeah.
their mother tongue. Okay, because it's not only their mother tongue, but students are also afraid to make mistakes, and if they make mistakes, they're teased by their friends. Especially the
Yeah.
end classes. So that's why we need to be there to guide the students.
Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. We have seen Ms. Jamalia and Mr. Hanafi talking about how this has evolved into other skills as well. You know, from writing skills, it has evolved to other skills as well. Well, what about you, Ms. Farah? How have you introduce this program to other skills, or how has the teachers given their response towards this program being used in other skills? Miss Farah?
Okay, thank you so much for this
Welcome.
question. Now that you mentioned other skills, actually, when
Uh-huh.
my coaches were conducting their intervention
Uh-huh.
in carry out the interventions of the this writing part 3, they shared with me the challenges, the time constraint, because what is the problem is that they are involved, the teachers, most of them are involved in other programs, and courses as well. So sometimes the scheduled writing class has been missed. And when that happens, they find that the students forget. The students themselves complain, "Oh, sir, we have forgotten what you taught us." So it makes the teachers reteach. So they need to reteach whatever that was missed or forgotten by their students. So that's why I should think really commendable for the teachers, and they really show their dedication. But in a way, it also highlights the additional workload they carried by having extra classes to mitigate the problem of students having forgotten, and so there is a gap there. So when that happened during our PLC, during our sharing session, we came up with this idea. Why don't we integrate, as we are going on with other lessons, our reading lesson or speaking lessons? Why don't we follow the same theme, and we still use whatever they are learning or going to apply in writing by applying those in speaking as well. So
Mm.
that will give them extra reinforcement,
All right. Okay.
teachers in Pekan district, most of them have followed this method because they needed to counter the problem of having missed a class and having to organize a lot of extra classes to give them the necessary skills before they start writing. So they say when they integrate the same vocabulary when they do writing, or meaning they choose reading text that also highlights those words that they are about to teach in writing, they find that it helps. So it saves time,
Okay.
and it helps them in carrying out their intervention. So
All right.
yeah, of course we know the challenge is also related to writing being a very complex process. It
Correct.
can't be
Correct.
like
Yeah.
get it straight away, right? The
Yeah.
students' retention and readiness is also very important.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Yes, I do agree. Right. Yeah. As how we have mentioned, I'll go back to reading and writing, listening and speaking. Right. So, like writing and speaking, they are two productive skills. That we can see and we can evaluate and we can actually, we can listen to them speak and whatnot. Right. So, for listening and reading is a bit difficult because they have to internalize things, right? So if we can actually best use this process in listening and reading, it would be really beneficial to the students. And I think that many of the teachers have actually used this process in teaching reading and listening as well, so that they find the gaps and they identify their mistakes and they find a focused approach, right? Okay, so the discussion is really making waves, I suppose. So let's move on to our our final discussion, which would lead us to definitely the way forward. The way forward. How can we sustain PPKBIS? Being a very good program. That has shown quite a number of impact. That has been so beneficial to students exam results and whatnot. So what I would like to ask you, what is your way forward? Okay, we'll start with Miss Farah. What is your way
Okay.
forward to actually have this program, to sustain this program?
Right. I think as with any other program, notwithstanding PBK by BIS alone, the sustainability and implementation of anything will have to rely very heavily on the consistent effort that we put in. The culture of collaboration, the continuous process of reflection among our teachers. And now that we have gone through a year, or rather, yeah, okay, it's about a year of PPKBIS. I have with me a team of believers and practitioners, reflective practitioners. So they are my best
Fantastic.
models. They are my best ambassadors, because I think the process has really gained traction among them, because now teachers recognize the value in addressing their students' specific learning gaps through data.
Yep.
They really truly believe data is so very important. So what the way forward for PPD Pekan is that uh, we plan to expand PPKBIS to other schools which have not been able to have not been introduced to PPKBIS yet. And of course, the teachers involved, especially the more senior ones, will be my facilitators. In fact, we have had a short briefing regarding this on how we are going to implement this at the district level next year. Hopefully, slowly but surely it may extend to other skills as well. We'll start with writing first.
Yeah,
And
that's great.
perhaps
That's great.
I have heard other coaches even introducing to other subjects. Who knows? We may even, with the result shown, I can, convince my district to maybe adapt and adopt PPKBIS in other subjects, maybe sejarah,
Yeah,
BM,
yeah,
mathematics,
yeah.
to in order to have more focused intervention based on data. Yeah.
Yeah, we should share whatever that is good. Yes, yeah, and yeah, to just to add to your explanation, we plan to do it for Form 1, for lower secondary starting next year 2025. So back in Kedah, because this is a suggestion from our coaches. I mean coaches. They suggested that they want to do from lower secondary itself. So I said, okay, why not? They start the ball rolling, and we just give them a platform to do it. Right. So let's move on to Mr. Hanafi. What about you? What is your way forward?
All right. Rome was not built in a day.
Yeah,
So
correct. Precisely.
yeah, so we started implementing the error identification since 2007, and up until today, we even applied it to Form 1 students. And of course, sometimes we need some improvement. So the method, I would say, might not work to certain group of students, but
Mm-hmm.
it has proven at my school. And of course, intervention takes time. Okay,
Yeah.
always have the PDCA, the plan to check and action. So if the intervention doesn't work, teachers might need to think what's next, and we cannot depend only one method, and we continuously explore what's best for our students through improvisation and modifications in our lesson to maintain the momentum as well as to improve results in students' performance. And as head of the language department, so I've advised my Bahasa Melayu teachers to try to use this error identification among their students, and then they started to use it for this year.
I'm afraid you are muted, Miss Kagila.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So that's great. That's great. Congratulations, Mr. Hanafi. I think you've done a lot for this 1 year. And we can see whatever that you've done. So your the way that you have mentioned it, you are a true believer of PBKBIS. That I could say, right? And we move on to Miss Jamalia. So Miss Jamalia, what about you? What is your way forward?
Okay, for me personally, I do agree with what Mr. Hanapi said just now that Rome is not built in one day.
Yeah,
And I
that's
do
very
agree
true.
with Miss Farah just now that we have to create this. To spread this to the other school that not having this BPKBIS program before.
Yes.
So for me personally, I do agree that to make sure this program possible, we really need we really need to have a good rapport between the
Yes.
teachers and the students as well,
Yes.
the teachers with the principal or the school
Mm.
environment themselves, and of course
Yeah.
to the PBA, because we actually need a good support from each other to make this possible
Mm-hmm.
and come true.
Mm.
As for my
Mm.
schools, we started not only for Form 4 and Form 5, but we slowly expose the Form 1 students, Form 2 and Form 3 students to know and get used with the terms of data analysis,
All
with
right.
the terms of um, identifying errors. Because I do believe if the students know their mistakes, they learn from it. Yeah. And we have to create a very good learning environment with them. Let them to be creative in their way. Let them show
Mm.
and expose themselves.
True.
And for this, of course, collaborative learning, the PLC is a good support for this program to, you know, what do we call that? Achieve what we want in this program, especially in the writing.
Okay.
And of course, when they are good in writing, they will be good in the other skills too. Slowly
Yes. Yes.
and surely, they will achieve what they want, and we will achieve what we want as well. And it really
Yes.
happens to my school before and after we did the analysis. Before this, we just only have only like below than 10% in the school to got an
Mm.
A for the SPM results. And
Mm.
when we do the PPKBIS, it's a wow. It's a wow achievement. Yeah, it's a wow achievement because 2023, my school improvement has shown a very good numbers of students who got an A. So we got like
Mm.
one person A plus, the other one A pure, and the others is A minus and so on. So they have like 16 numbers of my students to get this, and it is
Mm.
surely it is from the PPKBIS program. And I guess
Wow.
this is very good. Yeah, very good for, we spread this PPKBIS to other school. We let the teachers know what they should do. Of course, the PLC really helps because every year there will be teachers come out and come in like that, right? So
Mm.
as a teacher, as the KB, as the KP, everyone needs to play their roles. We need to let the young teachers, the new teachers, I mean, to know what PPKBI is so they will get familiar with this. I strongly believe this PPKBIS is really good, and of course, in my district, I would like to share this to my other colleagues in the town or in the district. And of course, there will be another schools to join the PPK base as well. And for this, I think there is no other word to say that PPKBIS is a good platform for students to improve their English, especially in writing skills. That is for me. Thank you.
Oh, that was really good. Okay. So anyone would like to tell me one short, catchy phrase or one word on, to sum up PPKBIS?
Okay, let me try. I
All right.
think PPK. Okay, can I?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. One of the greatest takeaways from PPKBIS is how it encourages all of us to grow, not only the students, teachers, students, and coaches as well. So we continue to adapt, adopt, innovate, reflect, because after all, our students' needs are at the heart of everything we do. See, so that
Yes.
is why it is very important that we have to strive to embrace this forward thinking mindset, and we have to keep growing for the benefit of ourselves, our students, and the teachers themselves. So, as a parting thought, I would like to leave you with these words by John Dewey. If we teach today's students as we were taught yesterday, we rob them of their tomorrow. So finally,
Yes.
my heartfelt thanks to ELTC for organizing this very insightful webinar. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Farah. Thank you, Miss Farah. Thank you, Mr. Hanafi, and thank you, Miss Jamalia. Before we end the session, we would like to say our utmost thank you to ELTC and the team of PPKBIS, because I think without them, without this, brainy bunch behind the whole program, we wouldn't have achieved so much, right? And I feel like our way forward should be, firstly, adopt a data first mindset. So when we go through this course, we will adopt a data first mindset, and we would like ELT to actually continue performing your training and support your you have been supporting us so much, so we would like you to continue your support, be with us, to see the student outcome. And also we can also develop hope to develop collaborative networks, by using technology, and also the most important thing is, I think we should focus on sustainability. We should sustain this whole program, and we should evolve the program. We should put it into other skills, other subjects, and I'm sure that we are doing it right now. We are in the verge of doing everything, because of the power that this program could bring to the students outcome, right? And finally, we should always have a platform to measure and share the impact, like a seminar, a colloquium, so that teachers from all over Malaysia will share what they have done by using PPKBIS, what PPKBIS has brought to them, has made them be, has contributed to the students' outcome. So I think these are all important things that, we should bring to the limelight, so that this program is seen as one of those big programs that really is in line to students' outcome. Yeah. So with
Yeah.
that, I think we had a very good session. Thank you so much, Miss Farah Jasmine Abdullah, Mr. Hanafi, Miss Jamalia. It has been a very fruitful session, and I hope all our viewers today, they have actually understood somehow or rather what PPKBIS is all about, what we have been doing in schools, what the teachers have been doing in schools where PPKBIS is concerned. So with that, thank you so much. Thank you, viewers, for your time. Thank you, Miss Farah, Mr. Hanafi, and Miss Jamalia. And thank you, ELTCKPM. Thank you so much. Bye.